What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to episode 2 of podcasting with me and Lakira.
Yes.
Today, the subject is going to be mainly on rejection, things like how to overcome rejection, because sometimes growing up as a kid, you can be like rejected from things like that, just basically closed off. And the main part, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. The main focus I wanted to get to today was how rejection can lead and can turn into fornication, and how you're inviting the spirit of lusting when you do that type of stuff. And as young adults, it's really hard for us to back away from the temptation, even as adults, but it starts when you're young, because it's like rooted from abandonment when you're young or whatever. But if you're new here to my channel, first like, subscribe, click the thumbs up, and I want to introduce Lakira again, just in case this is your first time watching, and I'm going to let her introduce herself once again.
Hi, I'm Lakira. I'm 21 years old, originally from Alexandria, and it has been a pleasure to be partnered with Kiera as well.
Period. Okay, so now we're going to get into it. First, I just want to read a scripture about overcoming rejection, and that's coming from 2 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, 17th verse. It says, "The Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." So, just in case you're feeling like bondage or anything from past hurt that you grew up with, I just wanted to give like a little story of what I went through, and hopefully it touches you so that you can overcome it. But when I say rejection, when I think of the word rejection, I mean like people pushing me off to the side. I'm not like feeling accepted, because I was very insecure, and sometimes us as women, we are very vulnerable, and we want men to like give us that attention or whatever, so we kind of like project our bodies, whether it be from social media, posting our bodies on social media. That's where the world is today, so I'm just going to say social media. Posting our bodies on social media and not covering ourselves well can really lead to the attention of another male.
Yeah.
So when I was I think it started maybe like high school. Had to be high school. Yeah, it was high school. I was no, I'm lying. It started middle school, because I didn't know who I was or whatever. I was in a relationship I really loved, like I'm a lover girl, and let's just be realistic. I'm a married woman now, so the things that I discussed right now that's happened in the past, I explained to my husband, and he fully accepts me for who I am to this day. So I was in middle school, I was dating or whatever, and I just wanted like the attention of men. I don't know, it was like I just wanted their attention or whatever, so that I can feel good about myself, because middle school, that's the age where kids, that's the age where their hormones just go crazy, right? And I wanted some attention from this guy or whatever, and I didn't have no business doing what I was supposed to be doing in middle school. So that was like the peak of it right there. And I lost my virginity in high school. Fast forward, I lost my virginity in high school. But I was introduced to some stuff when I was in middle school. And I thought, okay, this is a way for a man to actually want me. Is, give him a part of me. Give him a part of my body or whatever. Yes, I lost my virginity in high school. And I really thought like, okay, if I give him this, then he'll love me more, things like that. But come to find out, now that I know the nature of young boys or whatever, they just only want one thing.
One thing only.
They want one thing.
One thing only.
And the thing is, like, you just have to tap into that immediately, because if you don't, you're going to get hurt in the future. You have to love yourself first, and you have to learn the nature of younger boys. Sometimes, like, when you give your body away, you're giving a piece, like you're basically a masterpiece or whatever, and you're basically supposed to wait till marriage to give your body away. And what I did was I gave it away at a young age, and I was just doing it. I wasn't like out there. I wasn't like, no. What's the word? I wasn't a whore. Okay, I wasn't a whore, but I was out there doing things that I didn't have no business doing, and I was doing it for the attention of men because of rejection. And it turned into being lustful. Yeah, very lustful, like wearing provocative clothes, things like that, just for the attention of males. And I knew that's not where I needed to be or whatever. And when I had my deliverance, May 2023, I was free from all of that stuff, because y'all don't know how bad it was. I was in the dark with just being a fornicator and things like that. Until me and my husband, we were fornicating before marriage, but I told him October 2023, I said, look, I can't keep doing this. I'm trying to get right with my walk with Christ, and I can't keep doing this. I just felt so convicted. Like I felt convicted so bad, and I finally told him, look, we can't do this no more. I can't keep doing this to myself. I'm trying to be right with Christ. So ended up getting married because we wanted to do this the right way. And I got tired of, like, people was like, oh, you're a Christian, but you're still doing this. Now you can't say what I'm doing because I'm doing it the right way. So this is something that I want people to, like, break away from and things like that. What are your words on just breaking away from fornicating?
Well, first of all, I think this in general is going to be a healthy conversation, because you're speaking from, like, the married perspective as well. I'm still single, y'all, so pray my strength. but no, like, honestly, rejection is crazy, and I actually didn't really think about it too much until we were preparing for this video, and how much it ties to fornication. But I know for a fact that, like, when it comes to being rejected by not only like peers or whatever, but by your own family members, it's kind of crazy, because it's like, okay, mentally and emotionally you're not giving me what I need, so I'm looking for it elsewhere. And it just so happens that it being this individual that I'm attracted to, and then we start doing what we had no business doing. So yeah, I know for me, getting introduced to, like, sexual immorality was very young. Like, my first deal with it was really porn, and that was let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. I mean, and the thing about it is, like, thinking back on it, it actually is kind of sad, because I was very young. Like, I'm not even talking middle school. I'm talking beginning of elementary school. I was introduced to it very young. And, you know, I am fully aware now that the Holy Spirit was always with me, because, like, nobody told me what porn was, and nobody told me that it was bad. But there was something in my mind that was like, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm enjoying it, so I'm gonna continue to do it. And
it becomes addictive. Yes, very addictive.
Yes. And yeah, so I got introduced to it, and it changed my perspective on a lot of things, especially my own appearance, my esteem, and I really just was bummed out. I was bummed out until I met Christ. But going off of the previous video, I did let y'all know that I was very masculine growing up, and that had a lot to do with how I identified myself and everything. So I had boy clothes on by the time high school came around, especially when the pandemic hit. You couldn't tell me nothing, okay? I'm so serious. You couldn't tell me nothing. I mean, we were doing our senior pictures. I kept my nice healthy hair, and then I cut it all off that December 2020. And yeah, I was really just out here. And 2021, I don't know why this memory just popped in my head, but I actually went to Pride, y'all.
Wow.
Listen.
I've never been to Pride before.
You don't want to go?
I wanted to, like, I would look on people's stories and I'm like, oh, they look lit. Like, I want to do that, but girl, something in me just,
no.
Well, first of all, my parents were strict, so I couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah, I was sneaky, but you know.
That part, because I was. We can get into that. Parents, if y'all watching this, look, this is what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to be truthful. He wanted me to just tell my story.
No shame.
But as far as going back to the porn thing or whatever, I'm going to say I was a recipient of that as well, because, like, you know, being away from my husband in another country, you know, I don't want to, you know, get someone else's attention. Yeah. But the porn was kind of like taking my attention away. And then also, when you watch porn over and over again, it messes with your mind. Yes. It messes with your mind. Like, sometimes I would go out in public and I see things like, I'm like, God, please forgive me for thinking like that. Like, I don't want to think like that. Whatever I'm thinking, like, whenever I think like that, I immediately ask God to forgive me, because it's like my eyes, it's like it messes with your whole image or whatever. And you just have to be delivered from that completely. You have to be delivered from that. And even when girls, like now on Instagram, these girls, it's like people just don't care anymore. Like, just, you know, back when I was in high school, when girls got exposed or whatever, they didn't care. Now they just post it, like it's just there. And it's just really sad for our generation. Girls just like exposing their whole bodies or whatever. And when I was I actually grew up into the fornicating, because my family is basically like a generational curse. Like, I have family members, my brother, he used to bring girls in the house and stuff like that, and my little eyes just seen stuff and heard things, and I'm just like, what the heck is he doing? And I know exactly what he was doing now to this day. He was in there having sex, and it kind of like ruined me as a little kid. So I grew up like just grown. I'm so mature right now, and people's like, why are you so mature? Why are you so mature? Because I did things that I had no business doing when I was younger, and I had to like basically grow up fast, because I was introduced to a lot of things at a young age. And it's just crazy. It's really crazy how God can change your mind completely, change your whole lifestyle around. And I'm so glad he put me on this topic, because when I was 18 years old, I was messing around with this guy, and I got pregnant. I hid this pregnancy from my parents. I think I just graduated high school, and I waited a year before going to the military or whatever, but I was still hanging around the wrong crowd, and I ended up getting pregnant. And I remember I found out I was pregnant. I was working at McDonald's at the time, and I was like, I can't. I knew something was wrong. I was laying on the couch. I hid the pregnancy from my family, and I was laying on the couch, and I just kept telling my mom, no, it's a stomach virus or whatever. I went to dance practice at church, and ran off the stage and was throwing up in the bathroom. So I had to go home, and I took an Uber across the street, and I got a pregnancy test. I came back in the house, peed on the stick, pregnant. Mighty God. Just pregnant. And I was 18 years old. I was scared. I was like, look, I'm trying to go to the military. I really don't want to do this. Like, this is going to mess up my whole plans in life. And this is when I didn't really have, my connection with God wasn't strong. I went to church, but my connection with God wasn't strong at all. So, ended up sitting on the couch. I was depressed. I fell into a really bad depression. Like, the guy that I was messing with, whatever, he was gone, and I was really doing it by myself, honestly. And I sat on the couch. I was just so sad. Like, I thought my whole life was just over. And I was with a friend. I lied to my parents. I told them I was going to her house, and she had an abortion clinic like around the corner from her house. This was in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
Alexandria, Virginia. She lived like around the corner from the abortion clinic. Lied to my parents and said that I was going over her house for the weekend. Whole time I'm about to get a whole abortion. Scared out of my mind. So then that's when got to the abortion clinic. She couldn't come back there. Like, they was like real secretive or whatever. And I felt nervous. Like, I just seen so many women coming out. They was like crying, like just really hurt. And I'm just sitting in there like, what am I about to get myself into? I'm 18 years old. I'm still a child. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, I'm just out here being grown. But I hid this from my family the entire time. So they brought me back on this table. They gave me this pill, and all I see is like, it was a whole bunch of people just standing around me. And they put like the anesthesia in my arm, and all I remember is my eyes going blank. And I just remember seeing all these people standing around me. And I woke up, and the lady, she was like, "You were out for 2 hours." And I was like, oh my gosh, this was fast. This was fast. She said, no, you were out for 2 hours. And I'm like, what the heck did I just do? Like, I was scared. I'm 18 years old. I never, like, I'm in here doing stuff I have no business doing. Right. I'm just scared. I'm just so scared. And I was like, how long? She said 2 hours or whatever. So I was trying to call my ride to come get me. I went back to the front house, and she gave me a hug, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're back. And she introduces weed to me. So at this point, I'm like, okay, good. I'm not pregnant. I can go turn up again. This, that, and the third. That's when I started smoking weed so heavy. Like, I was smoking every single day. I lost that baby weight so fast. I was 8 weeks pregnant, and that's when I had the abortion. But I lost that baby weight so fast. Like, I was just smoking every single day. Like, it was like clockwork. Every time she'll call me, hit me up, I'm like, hey, let's go smoke. Let's go smoke. And that's when my parents started to notice that I was like losing so much weight. Right. I remember I was walking out the room, and my dad was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm about to go running or whatever. The whole time I'm about to go smoke. Right. He said, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? He said, what are you doing? I said, nothing. And he can tell that something was wrong with me. My collarbone piece was like, they was like, y'all, they was like this. Like, I was looking sick from that weed. Oh my God. And it wasn't no regular weed. It was like exotic. I was smoking it every single day, exotic weed or whatever. And that's when time went on. I met my husband, and he was like, stop smoking the weed. And I'm like, who is this boy to tell me? Like, who he coming into my life and telling me to stop smoking? Like, who is he? Like, boy, I don't even know you like that. Like, we just started talking, and he was like, stop smoking. I'm like, who? I don't even know who he is. Like, he just haven't sent. My husband just haven't sent, y'all. Period. But told me to stop, and I stopped. But when I was with the friend or whatever, every time I got around her, I was like peer pressure to do it again. And so it was just so hard to stop or whatever. And whole time I'm just thinking about like the child that I just lost. Like, I just had a whole abortion. Like, that's crazy or whatever. And I didn't think to ask God to forgive me for doing it, because I thought it was just, I'm just trying to get this out of the way. I'm still trying to go to the military. So then that's when my husband told me to stop smoking, and then he told me I need to stop hanging around the friend that I was hanging out around with. And I'm like, who is this boy? Tell him, like, again, who are you to come? I feel like God sent him to come tell him to make me stop completely. Like, I stopped everything. It's like my life was on pause for a second. Like, it was like a wake-up call after that. After the abortion, it was like a wake-up call. Like, God sent him, and he was like using him basically to like get me back on track. So I stopped smoking. I stopped hanging around her. Everything started to fall in line, like everything back to back. Everything was just on course. I passed the military ASVAB test. I couldn't pass it for nothing because I was smoking so much. Like my brain cells, it's like my brain was just fried. Like I'll get in front of the computer and just feel like I'm just dumb. Like y'all, it was bad. I'm glad I got delivered from that.
Yes.
And passed the military test, went off to the military or whatever, came back, went to AIT, then I got orders over to Germany, and it was just, everything just happened so fast. Like even now in this life, this new life that I have right now with Christ, everything is moving so fast. Like me having a child, me getting married, everything was like clockwork. Like God wastes no time. He wastes no time. Like, oh my gosh. I'm just glad that that's my experience with fornicating. I know a lot of people out here that went through this same thing, and I really want to encourage y'all to just step away from it. Like, you do not want to go down that bad road that I went down. The depression that I went through while fornicating, it's like so much like a soul tie. And I wanted to speak about soul ties. Or whatever. I wanted you to give your input on soul ties and how it can really like destroy your whole character.
So truthfully speaking, soul ties, I always heard about it growing up, whatever, but I didn't really take time to think about it until like 2022. And yeah, so of course, like I said, I was introduced to porn at an early age, which caused me to do a lot of weird stuff. And I wasn't going to say this originally, but I was sexually assaulted at 18. And that actually, like, if the porn shifted my mind and how I view things, then that definitely did. So that happened, and for a long time I just carried this big weight of shame, like and it just felt like it was magnified along with the porn and everything, because it really made me go into that even more. So it was just like, okay, so I felt shame, depression, that was always around, anxiety, just like not knowing how to feel about myself. And I forget who it was I was listening to, but they were talking about soul ties and how, like, just the basics of it, meaning like whatever is on them, whatever spirit surrounding them is now transferred onto you. And it's very imperative for women to know that, because we are reciprocators and we are receivers. So if only I knew what I knew now, then I probably would have did a lot of things differently. But yeah, so that happened, and then I met another guy, and we started doing things that we had no business doing when I moved down here. And then I met another guy. So it was just a lot going on. But in 2021, even in me going through all of that, I still felt the need to, like, just start over, give my life back to Christ. And that was really the end of 2021. That was December 2021. And actually, to give a backstory to how we got there, November 8th of 2021, your girl was in the MEPS building.
What branch? Army, okay.
Was in the MEPS building, went to the hotel and shaking in her boots. And I remember sitting on that hotel bed, and that was the first time in a long time that I cried out to the Lord. And I was like, Lord, I don't know what's going to happen next, but all I know is that I can't do nothing without you. Now, y'all want to know what God did?
What?
So, also, so even doing all of that, getting introduced to a lot of stuff prior to, I also started doing self-harm. So the next day when they were doing the examinations over and everything before you got sworn in, they were just like, yeah, we're not going to let you go because of the marks that we found on your body. And we just suggest that you go get therapy and then get signed off saying that you're cleared to come back and try again whenever you feel the need to. So that whole time, first of all, that process was so long and it felt like the day was never going to end. And I just remember holding my like tears for like 2 hours, and when the sergeant came pick me back up to take me home, I was just crying the whole time. I cried the rest of that day, and my aunt didn't realize I had came back home and was inside. And the crazy thing about it is,
wait, you were in MEPS getting ready to be shipped off?
yes.
Oh my gosh.
So when I got back home, it was detrimental because, first of all, she didn't know I got back home. I walked in my room, I seen the balloons and everything that were already ready for when I come back. Like, what? Wow. So I seen that, went in the bathroom and was just done. And then I think she heard me and she just came in. She was like, what are you doing here? I couldn't even say nothing. I was just crying the whole time. So she just embraced me. But yeah, so after that, it was really when I was like, okay, I really need to get back on track with Christ. And that's how I got to December and rededicated my life back to him. So even in the rededication, y'all, I was still acting a fool.
Yes.
Let's be clear.
Yes. I understand.
Let's be clear.
I completely understand.
So I'm out here, I'm wilding. Like, mind you, it's baby steps to this thing, but still, it's just like to think back on it, it's like, okay, like maturity is real. So you're learning things, relearning things, and it's like, okay, the Lord did not deal with me like go straight into sexuality, because I would have just put my guard up and went back to doing what I was doing originally. Like, no. So we were dealing with anger, we were dealing with femininity, we were dealing with all these things that I thought were irrelevant.
Yeah.
And that's how we got to where we are today, sold out for the Lord and celibate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So so yeah, I just I don't know, like rejection, that was really my biggest rejection. First of all, is being denied trying to start a new life that I thought I wanted. But in actuality, and me crying out, I didn't really know what I was saying, but the Lord knew. So he just shifted everything. And when I say upset, he upset my whole world. So I really thank him for that, for sure.
I'm so glad. That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, rejection, it can bring you to a very, very dark place. And like I said earlier in this video, like it can cause you to want some attention. And I had wrote something down in my journal earlier. I heard God talking. The mommy and daddy issues, the abandonment, lack of attention growing up, wanting to feel loved as a kid and not receiving the love can cause you to search and look for the wrong things. And just, I don't even know how to go more into depth into that, because it's just plain and simple.
Yeah.
As a mom now, I want my kids to feel loved more than ever, because I don't want him to go through no things and trials where he can hurt another female because he's been rejected. Like, I'm going to use my brother for instance, and I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I'm going to use him for instance. He's been through child rejection or whatever, and it came from my mother, and he's like put up this guard where he started to act out or whatever. So it kind of like made him turn into this person, and I know deep down inside he's not really this person. It just came with the rejection, and it's causing him to act out in certain ways. And it all falls down from the nurture of a mother. As a mother, now that I am a mother, it is imperative to nurture your kids. Don't ever push them away, because you don't know how it affects them growing up.
Right.
It causes so much, like she said, anger, resentment towards people, insecurity.
Yes.
It can make somebody so insecure, and when they get the attention from another woman or whatever, then that's when it like feeds their pride. Rejection feeds into hold on.
Listen, all caps.
Rejection feeds the pride. When somebody wants like attention or something like that, they go searching for it, like whether it be online and other people. Once somebody feeds that ego, it puffs up their chest, like they think they're the stuff, and that's what makes people prideful, cocky, things like that. But it's like a whole mask. It's a whole mask, and when you pull that mask back and you just like look or whatever, you have to dig deep inside and realize what hurt you when you were younger, because that's what's the root of all the fornicating, things like that. It's the root of the anger that was built up. Like, you just keep trying to pat things down or whatever, it's only going to make the anger and things more like it's just going to keep getting taller and taller until you just give it all over to God and let him just change everything completely. Fasting or whatever can, like, God speaks to you during your fasting. For sure. And lately I've been on the fast or whatever, and by the time y'all see this, the fast gonna be over. Period. So let's just say this. We minister on Sunday, this coming Sunday, in the dancing. We're doing a fast. My fast was from social media and not eating until 12 o'clock p.m. In the afternoon, because I'm still breastfeeding, things like that. Anyways, but so far on my fast, God has been speaking to me. He's been like digging up things that I had pushed down into the ground and forgot about. Like, I'm asking God for a forgiving heart. I want to learn how to forgive people on so many different levels, because betrayal has brought me to a place where I feel like I can't trust nobody. I feel like people are out to get me. Like, I've been betrayed from people like that. I didn't even know like they had betrayal in their heart. I thought their intentions were so pure with me, because I'm such a pure person. And when people do things to me, it's just like, I gave you everything, and it's just like you just threw it all away. You just threw it all away. And I'd be feeling like I'm wasting my time with things. So it just kind of making me want to put up a guard, want to put up a wall. And when I want to be able to trust people to a point where it doesn't affect my marriage. Because if you don't have that full trust, it can affect your marriage. Like, you can be like, oh, I trust you, this, that, and the third. What are you putting down in the ground and not forgiving your partner about that's causing you to have issues in the future? Like, you just have to just keep, forgiving people. And that's what God says. Even Apostle, when he gave a word the other day, he was like, you got to forgive people so they don't block your blessings. I want to get to a point where I forgive people completely without saying, oh, I forgive you, but deep down in my heart, I'm just like, I don't want nothing to do with that person. They did this, that, and the third. And then if I get like mad or something, I bring it up again. I don't want to do that. I want to forgive and forget, move on to the next part of my life without trying to go back into the past. So yeah. And that brings my mind to, like, because right now I'm studying Leviticus. So one of the things that I pinpointed the other day was how much priests had to be like physicians, butchers, different things. In studying Leviticus, like, the priests of Israel will have to examine each animal brought for sacrifice and affirm that it had no obvious blemish or defect. And that was old covenant. Now that we're in the new covenant, Jesus came, he was our perfect sacrifice. So that's really what Leviticus is talking about, all the sacrifices that you had to do. But if you move fast forward to the New Testament, Jesus was that perfect sacrifice. But we are now called the priests in the New Testament, in the New Covenant, which means, what are we examining? Like, are we constantly checking our heart? Because that's really what the Lord is after. Are we examining our heart to see if there are any blemishes on it, or anything like unforgiveness, like anger, anything like that that is separating you from the Father? So
Yeah, please work on your forgiveness, work on your anger, work on your lustful desires, work on that rejection.
Yes.
Work on that pride.
Yes. Pride. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie like I don't be having pride, because sometimes everybody be having prideful days sometimes, but it's some people that's really, really boastful or whatever, and they just think they're the stuff.
Right.
They think the world revolves around them. Nothing can stop them. They are. But one thing about it, I read in my Bible the other day that God is going to humble you.
And is.
He's going to humble you. So all that pride, thinking you just gotta like that, like nothing can stop you. Let me just say this, as a person that was moving so prideful and stubborn, I wasn't listening to my parents. God humbled me quickly after that abortion. Like, he humbled me. Like when I hit rock bottom, when I fell into that depression, and it's nothing you can do about it once you hit that depression.
Right.
And I went over to Germany again with this prideful spirit, like just thinking I'm just that girl. Again, he humbled me again when he was about to take my sister away. So everything that you do, you better put God first in it. And if you don't, he's going to humble you so fast. And that's what he did with me and other people. And I hope that encourages you to just, humble yourself. Humble completely.
Humble. And going back, because I don't know why this is ringing in my head right now, but speaking of pride, let's talk about pride.
The festival. Okay. Because what do y'all do? Yeah, I don't even know what y'all do there.
So first of all, like I said, this was my first and last. 2021 Pride. Went out there and I was confused.
This was in DC?
Yes.
They be lit out there.
Yeah, sure do.
They be lit.
Sure do.
I be watching people's stories.
We took the metro. I was with a group of friends. We took the metro and everything, went out there. And I was confused. First of all, those who know me, most people see the extroverted side of Lakira, but I am very much an introvert. I like to stay to myself, think a lot. 25/8.
Same. Same.
So, I'm like a ambivert. So I'm out there with all these people, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm seeing folks that look like they need to go get it back in the water. Like I knew I was looking ratchet. Now I'm just looking back at the pictures and everything. I knew I was looking ratchet. But some folks that I've seen out there, I don't know. I don't know. But pride, it's like, I think about Isaiah when it's talking about the festivals of iniquity. And when I first started studying Isaiah, I remember reading that, and that was where my mind first went to. And I remember when I was out there was like a man or whatever out there, and he was trying, I guess, to share the good news of Jesus Christ, but it wasn't in a loving way at all. And it was like very combative, like between the people out there celebrating and him and the people that were with him. It was very combative, and they're like going back and forth. And for me, when it comes to certain topics, I'm very neutral. But even in that moment, I knew truth. Let's get that clear. I knew truth then, and I still rebelled against it. So even in hearing that, I knew that part of what he was saying was right, but part of me was also with the people that were combating him.
Yeah.
So it was like, but the festivals of iniquity, like, I don't know, it's just so much pride in identity that you get it so wrong. And I remember when I started taking my walk seriously, I don't know who it was, but it was a podcast, and they were talking about how Satan is constantly after our identity, because if he knows if he can change that, then you're basically separated from God, like for a good period of time. Like he knows that you're not going to be recognizable. And then translating that to scripture, where it's like, well done, that good and faithful servant. The backhand of that is, depart from me, I never knew you. And it's like, how can you say you never knew me when you were the one who created me?
Yeah.
But it's the fact that your identity has changed so much while here that you're unrecognizable. Your heart is not a sweet aroma to him. Like, it's desperately wicked. There's no righteousness to be found when you're sending up offerings. And yeah, I knew then that I was wrong, but in accepting, like, I really knew how wrong I was very aware of my sin. And I would just say, for anybody who's struggling with sexual identity, anything of the sorts, whether you're currently identify as a homosexual, I'm not bashing you, first and foremost. I am not bashing you, because doing homosexual sex is just as bad as doing heterosexual sex outside of marriage. Like, it's just as bad. So I'm not bashing you, but I do want to challenge you to actually study scripture and get to know God for yourself and know how much he loves you, and he wants you to do things the right way.
I just got a memory. It was a memory. I forget how old I was. I was living in North Carolina. I might have been like 4, 5, or 6. It was this my grandmother, we used to call her Grandma Tuli. We used to stay over her house or whatever, and she used to always have kids over there. And oh my gosh, it was so much. I just got another memory on top of that one. Let me start with this one first, okay? So we used to stay over her house, and it was this girl, it was this lady, she had 4 daughters or whatever, and one of the daughters, we were all like sleep close together, and she started to, touch on me or whatever. And that, I'm still young or whatever, but it kind of like awakened something that I didn't have no business awakening or whatever. And then as time went on, every time I had like a sleepover at the house, I'm thinking, oh, this is what girls are supposed to be doing or whatever. And I didn't realize that affected me. That affected me at a little age. You have to be very careful what you do around your kids or whatever, what your kids see. Because when they're young, babies, I was 4 or 5 years old. 4 or 5. Yeah, I was 4 or 5 years old. I was a baby doing that stuff, and I didn't have no business doing it, all because someone introduced it to me or whatever. And then fast forward, my church, they used to have like these little life groups or whatever, and it was a boy there. I'm just playing around with a ball or whatever. The kids, they were upstairs, and like once kids get together and no parents are around kids, they start to get sneaky. So this one boy came in here, I was playing around with this ball, and then he just started kissing me. I was probably about 6 or 7. This is the second time someone did something to me that I didn't want. I was in 3rd grade actually. That means I was 8 or 9. And this is the second time someone did something to me that I didn't want happening to me, because it introduced things that I later did in the future. And things like that can really mess up your mind. It can invite lustful spirits inside. So I don't know. It's just to encourage someone, because I know other people have been through this. Nobody's life is perfect or whatever. So someone who's been through the things that me and LaKara have said. I just want to encourage y'all to just, think about what happened in the past. I want you to forgive yourself, because it wasn't your fault. And secondly, just give it all over to God, because he's going to take you to places that you have no idea. He's going to change your life completely around. Once you just lay everything down on the altar, he's going to do everything exceedingly and abundantly. But that's going to be the end of this podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is really like a tough talk this is really tough. Like, even in the beginning of me starting this podcast, I was kind of like beating around the bush, and I kind of like just had to just let it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna get into more deep talks like this. But I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, like, and share. Send it out to your family and friends. And yeah, bye guys.
Bye.